I'd like to welcome to the Metal Shop 101 the chief himself, the one, the only Chuck Billy of Testament. What's going on, Chuck? How you doing?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. Trying to get through the winter.
Oh, I
Let's
hear that.
let's talk the new album, Parabellum. It's another incredible Testament album. And
Thank you.
translated, it means prepare for war. I mean, given the current state of the world, how much of this album was a reaction to global chaos, or was it a battle cry for the band itself?
Well, well, in the end, it was definitely of the global chaos for sure.
Right.
Um, it was one of the later songs written in the record, Parabellum, and then when we kind of I had that title, but then when I went back and did research and found the whole phrase "Civis pacem parabellum," which if you want peace, prepare for war. I was like, wow, that's kind of right up the alley of what's going on. Current affairs,
Right.
and it made more sense as a title of a record because I know first was leaning towards infanticide AI, and we really didn't want to go down that rabbit hole and get people possibly chasing that rabbit. So we thought maybe Parabellum felt more appropriate what's going on in the world and the times, and
Right.
especially what Eric was working on the record. We talked about this archangel with a mushroom out of a mushroom cloud with these missile wings, and that didn't really seem infanticide. That seemed more prepare for war to me.
Right.
Seeing an angel, you know, nuclear mushroom cloud,
Right.
angel warhead things make more sense. And then once I seen it in the color of it, when I seen the first final thing, I was like, wow, beautiful. Totally grabbed me and pulled me back to like when I first seen like Practice Swing Creations. It was bright, vivid, and it really stood out what this record felt like.
Right. So, infanticide AI, definitely a heavy hitting track. I mean, what is your take on AI in the music industry these days? Since it's starting to spread like wildfire, and it drives us people like me crazy.
Well, I mean, it's not really a creative. I guess it could be a creative tool, to help you
Right.
write and work. But I don't think you should use it to produce and then release something like that. But AI is in all our lives these days. I mean, I drove San Francisco, Texas, New York, driverless taxis.
Right.
Driving me. I was in LA last week where there's carts all up and down the streets delivering food. And robots.
Right.
And even I went to Sweetwater, which is a music distributor. A
Right.
bunch of instruments stuff back east. I went to their warehouse, and their whole warehouse is robotic. There's
Oh
nobody
wow,
inside the warehouse.
that's
So it's
crazy.
just pulling orders and selling and shipping stuff out all robotically. So it's here, man. It's taking jobs. It's moving. But in the creative part of evolution of it, I ain't into it because maybe if you're a young kid and you're trying to make a T-shirt, yeah, go ahead, make some AI,
Right.
bam, make a T-shirt. But if you're gonna put it on your album and sell it to the public, I ain't down for that, or
Right.
or trying to make a song and sell it that way, or you know,
Well, the thing
uh,
is too is I mean, you musicians, there's no human connection with AI. You know what I mean?
no,
I mean, you guys have practiced, over and over, and all of a sudden these kids come along, type in something in a AI program, and they make a song, and I see songs that are getting like 2-3 million clicks, and it's all AI produced, and I think it's wrong. I think they need to shut it down, but I don't see that happening.
that's like anything. You find a new tool to help your way get through
Right.
something, you use it. So I mean, you know, being an artist, it's an artist. That's not being an artist to me, really. I mean, it's
Right.
I don't
It's
know.
not.
It's not. It's again, you can use those tools to help things, but don't use them
Right. Right.
other ways. Yeah.
Let's move on to the song "Meant to Be." Now, this track features a full orchestra in it. I mean, how was it? How did you feel about the blend of the classical music with, the thrash sound of Testament on that song?
Well, of course, that song's a big power ballad, and
Right.
we haven't done one of those in a long time. And once we completed the whole song lyrically, musically, it came out really nice. We were very like, wow, this is great. Um, but it still needed something. And you said, I could hear some strings in the background. And, right away, Alex is like, well, I know somebody, so he got right on it.
Right.
And we really didn't give direction to the guy doing the strings.
Right.
And he did an amazing job. He did exactly, we probably couldn't have told him to do what he did. So when we received it fits so well in there. And um, it works, and it was something maybe we talked about wanting to do it, you know. You always talk, man, it would be cool to play our music with an orchestra or something, and who knows, maybe we'll do that in the future. But this was our chance, and the song we had that would work to give it a shot, and it did make it really cool, and it definitely is an outstanding song on the record. You'd think it would be an oddity being a ballad for the record, but it's actually, I've heard more people say that that's one of their favorite songs on the record,
Right. It is. It's
and it
a
does,
phenomenal song.
and it takes you on a good vocal journey, but guitar journey.
Right.
Alex's solo, some of the solos on the end of that, it's pretty cool.
Right. It's pretty awesome. Was there any songs on Parabellum that like kind of pushed you a little bit out of your comfort zone?
All
As
of them,
far as all of them.
all of them, and it's because the way we write songs now on Titans of Creation, I didn't interrupt Eric's creative process. I just told him to give me the music, and I wrote. It made me write really stronger songs. They all had better identities, and so I went into this record with that same approach. Just give me the riffs. I'm not going to interject. Just I'm going to write over whatever you give me.
Right.
And and again, it did. It pushed me into an uncomfortable place. Sometimes I was saying where maybe I wouldn't necessarily pick that riff to sing over, but I found a way to do it. And it worked. And I think by doing that, it just really made all the songs have their own identity. Um, and it made the record flow better. So I listened to those last two records, and the way we wrote those songs, I think those songs stand out.
Right. Absolutely. Now you guys are getting ready to hit the road for Thrash of Titans and big U.S. run coming up, and then you got some European festival dates coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, going out with Overkill and Destruction. Our friends, we've been knowing them for close to 40 years.
Right.
Toured with Overkill in '87, and I'm sure I met Destruction '88 or somewhere around there.
Right.
So we got some history. It's going to be a good package, man. A lot of good heavy stuff. Destruction, strong, Overkill. It's going to be a good show.
Right. You have any good road story from touring back in the '80s together with like Blitz and all that?
Well, I mean, there's always good stories, but we were so young and so green to touring.
Right.
We were just we were just young nuts cutting loose, going crazy out on the world because we hadn't traveled far from home in California.
Right.
Got in a band, made a record, and bam, you're out on seeing the world.
Right.
Man, we were in heaven. So yeah, we rolled hard and just rolled hard.
So let me ask you this: with 14 studio albums under your belt, how do you balance must-play classics with the brand new intensity of Parabellum? Which song, like as far as picking songs for the tour list, set list?
Well, it's tough. It depends. Like this tour, we're doing about a 70, 80 minute show. That's maybe 15 songs. If we're doing a 2-hour show, then we're on into 20 something songs. Then it gets a little easier. When it's a shorter set, of course, on this record, we'd love to play 3 or 4 songs off the new album.
Right.
I think we'll probably lean towards more of the newer records, just because last year we were celebrating Practice What You Preach, playing that record in its entirety, plus some acoustics, ballads. So, I think it's going to be definitely a harder, heavier set on this run.
Right.
So, plus looking who we're with, so we got to keep it heavy.
You got to keep it heavy, that's for sure. Um, there's been some talk about Souls of Black remix for the 35th anniversary coming up.
It's true.
Elaborate on that
It's
a little
true.
bit?
Yeah, it's true, right? It hasn't. We selected the person to mix it. We haven't started yet, but we're gonna remix that record. We have the 2-inch masters. We'll remix and master it, and that'll come out next year. And again, that's a part of the Atlantic collection that me and Eric got back from Atlantic. So
Right.
now we own records again, and now Nuclear Blast is putting them back out for us.
I asked this question to Marco Segata, Death Angel, when he was on. What is it about the Bay Area thrash? Everything seems to be like Bay Area thrash.
Well, I mean, that was what was a new scene in those 80s. That was something we had special scene, and really a scene that opened up to us because, early 80s, it was, still a lot of glam metal bands up in the Bay Area, but mid 80s, Metallica, Exodus started stomping, the streets in Las Rocket.
Right.
I think a lot of those glam bands left and went to Hollywood, where that was probably a more appropriate place for them, was Hollywood.
Right.
Which all of a sudden it opened up the doors for a lot more venues and a lot more heavier stuff. And then that scene just kind of sprouted up,
Right.
And I push a lot of it on because, you would go to the shows, a lot of people would be at the same shows, but we'd all go to the same after parties.
Right.
And next thing it just came to be family. You came to know bands and family. And that was kind of the special thing that we had. That was Bay Area. I don't thrash, but let's call it thrash because that was new style of music that was going on for us because we had stronger influence of punk rock probably then. You know what I mean?
I notice with doing what I do in the radio, I notice a lot of bands, younger bands that are up and coming, are going back to that old school vibe, whether it be thrash or whatever. Because I deal with a lot of thrash bands. I'm an old thrash head myself, a long-time Testament fan. But I've noticed like a lot of these bands are coming back with that old school style thrash again, and I think it's awesome, whether they're in the Bay Area, but I know I deal with quite a few out of Canada, some out in Ohio. But it seems like it's trying to make a resurgence. These kids, you guys paved the way, for all these up and coming bands. And I think they're going and saying, hey, man, these guys were on to something. Maybe this is what the people want to hear. You know what I mean? So I think it's great that they're doing that.
Yeah, but it also takes full circle, too. I mean, look at our new record. It's not like we're copying what these new younger bands are doing, but we definitely take notice and are influenced.
Right.
We can't be these new young heavy bands, but we can definitely take that influence and inspiration what they're doing and apply it to what we're doing, which I think we've done on this new record. Especially bringing a youngster like Chris in, bringing a young energy to Eric to help him, create something that feels modern, I guess is the word.
Right. So, let's see, what else did I want to ask you here? So how long is the tour for?
Well, this one's going to go starting on the 14th, starting in Portland, ending up April 10th here in the Bay Area.
Right.
And it's just the beginning of our tour cycle. We put the record out in October, and of course, we wanted to get out here and push the record here in America. So we put this together pretty quick. Um, so hopefully we'll have some more plans the rest of the year in America. We'll see.
Right.
But I think people got to come see this tour. It's going to be a good, heavy thrash tour.
I'm going to try to catch one of your shows when you come to the East Coast. So
good.
So with the response to Bellum being so, I mean, it's been an unbelievable response. May we see a follow up sooner than later to the next album?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, Chris just went home, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, and him and Eric are, because the process went so well, him and Eric are already working on the next one.
Oh, wow.
And I called Chris the other day. I said, how'd it go? And he goes, well, we got about 6 more things ready to go. They're ready too. So they're gunning to hopefully get some songs written by next year, hopefully.
Right. All right, Chuck, let me ask you one more question. I'll let you go. Do you have any advice for any upcoming vocalist that's an upcoming band? Any, pointers you could give them or anything like that?
Well, just that it's a tough business to be in, and really concentrate and focus on your own identity and your own style, and stick with it. It's sticking with my own styles done me right for 40 years. So that's probably my strongest advice.
It's been a brutal 40 years, but I mean, every Testament album is just like a masterpiece in itself. That's all I can say. I love every one of them.
That. I appreciate that, man.
All right, Chuck, where can people find the new album at to get the new album? You got any links or anything?
Yeah, you can go to nuclearblast.com, and you can also go to our testamentlegions.com. You can find anything from merchandise, CDs, everything going on Testament at our website, testamentlegions.com.
Okay. All right, Chuck, hey, thanks a million for coming on the Metal Shop 101. I greatly appreciate taking time out, and we'll talk to you soon, man. Hopefully we'll see you on the road.
All right. We'll see you, my friend.
All right.
Later.